Hey everyone, TimeRider here. This is the Matchbox 28C Jaguar Mark X. Leslie made it from 1964 until 1968. They also managed to make it look frumpy. They're really good at that. Not sure the how or the why of it. You can be the judge. This one was donated by one of my subscribers, Justin, who resides in Florida here in the United States, and he donated it to me a while back. It had already been split and painted. The brown was a bit dark. I did find some decent examples on the internet that reflected the actual color quite well, and just for the heck of it, I looked at the range of browns as well. It's another metal flake paint, the type that I've tried with some success and some not so success to duplicate in the past. As you can see, the windscreen is also cracked and will need replacing. I'm going to restore this, so stick around. You know, maybe I shouldn't have called it frumpy. It's a pretty good casting, got a little motor in there that is unpainted in this. I think it was always unpainted. Of course, there's that crack in the windshield that I have to contend with. You know, this was released by Jaguar first in 1961, the same year as the E-Type, which of course probably overshadowed it. Jaguar was looking to break into the U.S. market because then, and probably now, the trick to selling cars is selling them in the United States because we all own them here. But anyway, it was never really more than a top shelf midsize by comparative standards to the United States. Ooh, primordial ooze. There she goes. It's 20 inches shorter than a Cadillac DeVille, 3 inches narrower, has about a half a foot less headroom, maybe 4 inches. I painted it with black primer, because I thought that might work better as a backdrop. And then I concocted this mixture of gold, brown, white. There might have been a little bit of yellow in there. It's a while ago, so I have a hard time remembering. But I'm going to put on a tack coat here. Motor Trend called the car an imperious presence. I still think it's frumpy. It actually was kind of an actor, too, because it made appearances in 30 movies and TV. Mostly cameos, but it was there nonetheless. It was in Steve McQueen's Bullet, and it was in John Wayne's Brannigan. And Jaguar made this, of course, from 1961 until 1970. You know, I've struggled with these metal paints because it's like, if you know, the base coat always seems to come through the flecks, and if you look at the Matchbox metal coat or metallic paints, they don't generally do that. Some of them will, but most of them are just very metallic looking. But we're going to give it the best shot we can. You know, here in America, even back when this car was made, you know, our cars just kind of had a little bit different rake to them. You know, I'm sure that this is supposed to be, you know, the pouncing cat. By then in the U.S., we were all driving downhill. Big tires, big motors. Color don't look so bad, though. I think I got pretty close to the mark on this. The bottom was kind of crusty. I decided just, you know, a good wash and some mineral spirits would probably help. And then, of course, taking a wire wheel to it afterwards to clean it up really well. Was in pretty good shape. And then on bases, I use this a lot. It's Rust-Oleum. It's, you know, primer and satin finish black paint. And it's fairly durable. And, you know, for what I'm doing with it, I hate having to set up my airbrush and clean it for that. The original did have detailing in the headlights and the grille, according to Falkensteiner's variation guide. So I'm going to give it a little dress up here. Again, I've said this before, whenever I do grills and stuff, I always like to start in the middle and work my way to the outside. And I would rather push paint than pull it. You get a lot better control. You can push it right up to a natural edge like I'm doing here. And then, of course, the axles, I mean, you guys have all seen me do this before. It's kind of a variation off of my old buddy Nick's use of his drill. He just used sandpaper. I used my wire wheel. And now I've even added a little polish on the end of the axles. These things, you know, I've heard so many ways to do it, but God, you know, I gotta tell you, I just use a lighter. You just have to be really careful. That's about all you need right there. Just a half a second, and then the plastic will be pliable enough for you to straighten it out. Just say, not very much. You just want to soften it a little bit. Man, that looked good enough for government work. Then I'm going to carve my little punt in the end of the axles like I always do to help me peen over the edges. And of course, you know, when you're doing that, you always got to do it on like 300 speed. Once I get those wheels back on though, let's go back and take a look at where we started. You know, I had issues with the glass on this, and I think I talked about it in the bench before. The first piece of windscreen that I ordered didn't fit, and no matter what I did to it. And the second piece I ordered, this I got from those guys in the Netherlands, MK Model Parts or whatever they're called, and it fit like a glove, so the new one did. But I don't have any footage of that, so I apologize. But anyway, that said, let's take a look at where I wound up. You know, of all the Matchbox metallics that I've done, I think I like this one the best. There you have it. The Matchbox number 28C Jaguar Mark 10. There will be an episode of The Bench following the video for those of you that like that kind of thing. Thanks for watching. Thumb up, thumb down, whatever you please. Click the little bell if you haven't done so already. This is TimeRider, and I'll leave the light on for you. Hey everybody, thanks for sticking around for this edition of The Bench. Let me introduce you to the newest addition to my bench, this Craftsman drill press. I'd like to say I'm happy about the circumstances by which I came into it, but I'm not. Let's just say it was kind of an inheritance. And then, you know, I watched Marty's video the other day, and it was kind of interesting because he was talking about the new way that he formed axles. Well, several months ago, I had a guy send me this to try, and it was just too cumbersome to use with a hammer, but I always thought, you know, if I had a drill press, this would work great. Well, guess what? I got a drill press. And then you may have recognized this GT40 here, the one that I made that has the wire wheels on it to commemorate kind of a valuable one. And then I did this follow-up piece when I did Three Blind Mice build. And I'm going to refinish this one. And then I'm going to have an auction, and all three cars will be sold with the benefits going to Toys for Tots. And then on the what do you got working on, pal front, I have this Scanmal plow that I've talked about before. You know, I love it. when a casting looks great on the table, even if it's just got all the paint stripped off of it. And this was such a beautiful casting that I just couldn't resist giving it a turn. That's pretty much all I got for you folks. So everybody have a great weekend. Be safe. I'm doing a live Coffee with Bill tomorrow morning, so tune into that if you want to. This is TimeRider. Everybody see you at the next video.